lose, it's always over for the GTA crowd. I just don't feel.
Ooh, ladies and gentlemen, how's it going? Somebody's got to put on the clown makeup today, ladies and gentlemen. So a few days ago, I was talking about this star chart planetary position nonsense for Grand Theft Auto 6. A bit of hopium flew into the veins, fired directly into my bloodstreams. Because I don't know if you've been following this psycho shit, but if you're new to the channel here, ladies and gentlemen, I'm just some fat Indian guy that likes to talk about what I like. And that could be computer security, that could be privacy, and when it comes to one of my favorite game franchises ever, Grand Theft Auto. Now, it's crazy to think the last release of Grand Theft Auto was all the way back in 2013. Original PlayStation triple copy right here. Now, I don't like to use the PS4, PS5 version because that's kind of like cheating. It's like it's like, oh, Skyrim's a PS5 game. Nah, bitch. Skyrim is as old as this masterpiece right here.
And now the cats are fighting. Damn cats. Does this even look like on OBS? Alright, cool. Not terrible. We'll at least play some music so it's not like completely. And that's how you cheat the YouTube system.
So, ladies and gentlemen, to give you an idea, GTA 6 obviously on its way, November 2026, maybe 2027. Like I said, my expectations are so low, I can't even begin to be disappointed. So to give you an idea, ladies and gentlemen, it was about like 2 weeks ago, a guy called Jalapeno Popper posted this schizo theory where they took planetary positions and basically predicted when the third trailer for Grand Theft Auto is dropping. Now, if you're a GTA fan like me, the last time Rockstar has mentioned anything about GTA was about a year ago with trailer 2. So we're kind of sitting here with no information at all. Like, to give you an idea for Rockstar gamers, they don't even like tease you a little bit. You know, other companies, they'll maybe twist the nipples a little bit. Rockstar, they're fucking razor quiet. They don't put any ads in their games. They don't put any fucking tweet out. They don't even like leak out a screenshot. No. Radio silence, okay? Imagine if you're cracked.
You don't get to sit here and say that this is the most anticipated video game of all time and then wonder why there's so much radio silence from the studio making it. Like, it is such a
just
bizarre...
stop giving you crack at the height of your withdrawals. It would drive you fucking crazy. That's what a GTA fan is kind of like in this situation. We're crackheads waiting for the next motherfucking fix, okay? I hate it. But ladies and gentlemen, obviously this theory got a little bit of credibility the other day when a few days ago Best Buy started sending out a fucking email to a bunch of their like influencers, and this email was like, "Whoa guys, GTA 6 pre-orders up." Now, at the time, I thought this is gonna be some bullshit.
Imagine
but then a whole bunch of other credible people were like, "This seems pretty legitimate." You know, it's funny. Best Buy didn't even come out and say, "Oh, guys, it was a fuck up." Obviously, this is not happening. Rockstar Games was like Rockstar. They were just quiet as fuck. Take-Two was chilling, being
They're
quiet
gonna cancel
as fuck.
it. Watch.
You know, it's crazy to think about it. The guy that runs Take-Two,
They're gonna cancel GTA 6.
literally
Who knows?
doesn't smoke, drink, play their
See what
games.
happens.
He gets to
One
be
could only hope.
behind one of the biggest media franchises.
One could only pray.
And truly doesn't care. You know, he goes to
I
the
just sit
office,
here and stream
does
it.
his boss
Bored.
moves,
I'm bored
goes
streaming.
home, collects his
It's not
check,
like I'm...
and you know when people ask him about GTA
It's not like I
6,
give a
like, yeah,
shit.
it's that like, it's that video game at the office.
It's a video game.
I mean, I've seen a couple clips of it, but couldn't really give a fuck. I mean, there is a level of badassery that a man has to be approving of today. So today, I literally woke up. I'll be real with you, man. I'll be real with you. I had the hopium in the veins. I was like, ooh, am I gonna wake up to a GTA 6 trailer 3?
I don't get it. who's that like butthole puckered over GTA 6? I don't get it. Make it make sense. Make sure this isn't there we go. Very bizarre shit. IMO. I don't know. Let's see what else does YouTube have to offer? Ooh, Sam Hyde on YouTube, not an issue. TikTok, not so much. No, it's a cover. I refuse to watch old content anymore. Especially considering, like, this is a college-educated individual who has been doing this for how long now? What's up, homie? How you doing? Yeah, that's what I thought. But we're dual streaming. Let's get this set up so it's a little more conducive to a uniform experience. What's on the docket? I don't know. I couldn't tell you. I kind of went down like a local rabbit hole. They just defunded our local emergency, like the rescue squad. Found out through a Facebook group post someone was stranded at a local watering hole for quite some time until finally dispatch routed out local FD. And I don't know any of the responding agencies. I'm still like, take all of that with a grain of salt. I do, but the defunding part is 100% confirmed. So that's always goes up in a fake mustache. A fake mustache. I don't see one. But you know, I was talking to my wife about it. It's one of those things where people aren't going to see the product of all this until it starts happening in their local communities with shit like that. And like, I don't mean to laugh at it, it's not funny, but it's like that was kind of the first thing to go for us was our rescue squad, like because the vote came up to the issue was it was a contract and they'd been paying 7 months they were inadequately, or they were ill-equipped, specifically in regards to ALS, which is Advanced Life Support Services or something like. Again, don't quote me on this. I'm not a doctor, nurse, expert, none of it. But like in the grand scheme of American fraud, 7 months is pretty rash, in my opinion, to just, as the vote comes, go, yeah, we're not doing this. And his reasoning at the meeting I put in that post wasn't so great, considering that, like, I'm not going to use the C word, but there's definitely been questions of like accountability in this county before, and you know, because this is local, I'm kind of treading on my words here, but it's with the way that the state's tracking, we're looking at a close to $100 million, like $98.3 million revenue surplus. And I refuse to believe, and especially in a state that's just notorious for not giving out stuff like, and we've been getting subsidies for stuff like Medicare, just medical stuff. Mostly education, which we know isn't getting allocated in that route, but also they're pushing money into other areas, specifically healthcare, which just there's no. I've lived in blue states. It's not hard to get Medicaid. It's not hard to get. It's not hard to get. Dare I say, socialized healthcare. It's just not. And so I like coming home to North Carolina. It just really frustrates me in that respect. Considering I'd like to think I have a better understanding of it, just as a recipient of those systems. So circling back, just watching, you know, in the midst of a revenue surplus, a massive, multiple, you know, there's been impasse after impasse for 7 months up until May. They finally start pushing stuff through legislature, and here comes Wilkes. The first thing they put on the books is to cut the rescue squad. And you know, it's only, and mind you, this is a year to the date when they started pushing shit like this back in September, November, sometime late last year. They just like it's I forgot where I was going with it, to be quite honest, because it's been a long day, but I don't know. I'll admit when I lose my train of thought, because people like to catch you on your words, but it's frustrating to say the least. So, I don't know. That's another thing. A lot of the stuff was based in tourism, and they just did this huge like grand reopening of a local speedway, which actually has some like historical significance here in North Carolina, in North Wilkesboro. Ryan Blaney, who I went to high school with, his father's a NASCAR driver. He's a NASCAR driver. If you know him, you know him. If you don't, you don't. But he was a big part of like trying to push that, you know, get eyes on the area, trying to bolster the local economy. We have Merle Fest every year. It's just like, it's frustrating to see stuff get pushed out, see these programs get subsidized in a red state, and they say it trickles down, and it never does. And then when Democrats come in, you know, you'll get guys like Roy Cooper, who, and again, I know this is going to sound a certain way, but Roy Cooper will just immediately go to social issues and won't address anything fiscally. Or if he does, he just pockets the money like everyone else did, but he gets the votes because he's willing to talk about social issues in a very conducive way. I don't have a problem with that, but you quite literally have to put your money where your mouth is. So it's just, I don't know. North Carolina politics are very weird because they're all like, I don't care what anyone says. North Carolina politics are always driven by money. I don't care what anyone says. Anyone on the left is lying, and everyone on the right is also lying. Like every bit of North Carolina politics is driven by money, and it either comes from the medical sector or like IT, AI, data, however you want to go about it. And a lot of like, I don't know how you'd word it, not botanical, like wildlife conservation, in terms of like the studies, the local university. I don't know, I'm not going to claim, scratch that last part, I don't really know. But those two men, and tobacco, it's always been tobacco. Which is something that, ironically enough, you don't hear a lot about in the news these days. Bizarre, considering, you know, that was our number one cash crop. And mind you, they're pushing hemp now. They won't say that they are, but they are. I drive past the fucking fields, like, I don't know. It's not hard to, and I know it sounds very like pretentious and up your own ass to say it, but it's really not hard to get back at, here in North Carolina, it's our number one cash crop, or it was. But you know, the last 20 years of anti-smoking and pivoting to vaping and even sort of that going down. You know, most nicotine, I would argue, I think is derived from like it's lab, it's synthesized in a lab, which I don't have a bearing on that. Truth be told, it's probably cleaner and healthier. But I don't have a dog in that fight, as I sit here and light up. But Oh, Tobacconville. How about that? Tobacconville, North Carolina. It's like an hour down the road. Beautiful country, right? Out there. But for people who aren't from here, it's very easy to look at places like that in North Carolina and think, oh man, I know the demographic. And more often than not, you're right. Unfortunately, that is true. But in order to change minds, you got to change hearts. And I got someone on YouTube. Said hi, hey, how we doing? Sorry, I completely forgot I was live over on YouTube. I'm over here talking to my TikTok crowd. But talking about local legislature. So we'll see. I tagged what's his name? Duke something. He reads a certain way. Speaking of that last topic, white guys that look a certain way, but at the end of the day, I'm not going to speak to how they think, and I'm not going to defend a bad idea, but and I'm not accusing anybody. We're rambling through thoughts here, but I was going to do a post about, there's a lot of people, people brought up the corruption of the SPLC here recently. And on the one hand, they've done some shady shit over the years, but at the same time, it's not like the, ACLU, which is just very clearly bought and paid for by somebody. I didn't know this. Ian Carroll, love him or hate him, he's a person. Has pretty deep-seated I'll call back. I'm probably wording this wrong, but he's got a pretty good relationship with the guys over and gals over at SPLC. And then in their defense of that, they were like, "Oh yeah, they were funding all these groups," and they were like, "Yeah, that's what happens when you're trying to infiltrate and get info," which could be just a cover, but at the same time, they have a point. So, in the years that I've, the few interactions, I should say, but from what I've known about them over the years, learning, as everyone else does, I mean, they've never come across as a shady organization in that front. Like I said, it's real easy to get a bad treasurer or a bad commissioner and cook books. I'm not going to make that claim about any organization, including and not limited to any government institution for that matter. But it's wild, man. And I don't know what the hell's doing this right now, but we gotta fix it. Some of them really do, Suno can produce some pretty interesting stuff, but I feel like it's definitely paid, and the tokens are prioritized, because some of them are meh, and then some of them you get one. Hey, thank you for the... I don't even know what the... Oh, a rose. Thank you for the rose. Thank you for the 12 roses. Thank you. Member? Output? See this one? It started with a B. Can't find it. I don't know.
Yours be nights I chase my dreams, books and papers, endless streams, but in my heart
We make our own fun. I forgot the mic wasn't on. I didn't realize the mic was on. It was off. You gotta let me know. Come on now. Well,
Yeah.